Hi everyone and happy Monday, and we have quite a detailed picture today for our planner page. I'm actually quite surprised that Johanna's chosen such detailed pictures for such to shrink down into a small space, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a good go at it and have some fun with it. So I thought we would have a go. I thought I would just quickly talk you through how I approach a detailed page like this. There is a lot going on, and what I find helps me a lot is if I deal with some of the bigger areas. So I am going to tackle this piece of furniture, this window and this piece of furniture first, maybe not all on video. We've got a floor and a wall to think about. Probably won't do the wall, might do the wall with pastel last, but we have a floor to think about, and then we can start focusing in maybe on some of the smaller things, maybe clustering them together, so maybe doing all the things that are gemstones, maybe all in the same colour, maybe all the metallics, that sort of thing. So trying to find little patterns and things like that. But we're going to start with this cupboard. Now have a think about what colour. Now we could do it wood. Brown wood is always how I tend to do this sort of thing. I'm just thinking whether, yeah, we'll stick with that this time, and I'll show you some ideas. Now we have some intricate areas here where there's a little bit of carving or something, and we have the handles, and we have these bits. I think it's like where there are hinges and they just... So what I'm going to do to make those really easy is to grab my Payne's grey and just do them in grey to make them look like dark metal. I'm going to come in a little closer so that all you can see is the actual piece of furniture. There we go. So for these, I'm just going to work along them and maybe fade a little bit towards the end. But I'm not going to make them look like shiny metal because that's a lot of work. I'm just going to keep it really simple. I'm sorry, I'm using Polychromos, by the way. Just, I didn't tell you that. It will say in the description. I don't know how many of you know or look, but in my description I have a list of all the pencils I've used generally, and then links to things that I've used, so it might be links to the brand of pencils, to the book, that sort of thing. So there's plenty for of guidance for you if you want to go and have a little look or want to know a little more about what I've been using. I'm going to also do the hinges in this colour. I'm just trying to simplify it because it's tricky, not just for you but for me as well, to stop it feeling so daunting. Now here we have these bits. Now we could do them as see-through bits or we could do them as gemstones, but I am going to keep it really simple again. You know, I think I bear in mind with the planner page that if we've got to do it in a week, so we may have other plans, we may only colour 5 minutes a day, we may have other pictures on the go that we want to do. So we don't want to always spend too long on the actual planner page. So sometimes having a simple method can be really, really useful. Okay, so these are basically a mirror image, except that one's got dots on and this one hasn't. So I am just going to do these in exactly the same way. This is nice and straightforward. So I hope everyone's having a good day. It might be quite early in the day watching this. I always put my early videos quite early in the morning. It just suits my schedule because I like to tell you about the video being ready, whether that's on my Facebook page or on Instagram, whatever. And I usually pop something in the comments and whatever. So 7:15 in the morning, which is generally the time it goes out, it's quite a good time for me. I have breakfast. I usually go down for breakfast about 6:45 on a normal working day. It's different at the weekends. Now these ones along the top I'm also going to do with Payne's grey, but I think I shall just do the easiest bit of shading, just fading them to the tip. Just so easy. Yeah, so 6:45 I'm usually in the kitchen preparing packed lunches and breakfasts and things on a weekday, and I'm not always back up by 1:15, back upstairs. It might be 1:30, but it's a good time for me to sort of get on and get this sort of, let you all know about my video before I then get on with my day, as it were. But the afternoon one, I'm not sure why I set it to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was just because I felt quite a good break in between them, you know. And sometimes I'm available to do a premiere and have a chat. Haven't done one. Well, I'm saying I haven't done one for a while. Not when I'm recording this, I haven't done one for a while. I'm not sure. Can't speak for when this one goes out. I'm getting quite ahead at the minute. So it's quite good. I always like to be ahead because it just makes me feel better and more in control. But when things get slightly disrupted, I feel like I need to be a bit more ahead so that I can feel relaxed. And if I've got plenty of time for recording, then that's great. Just nudge that, I think we're okay. So this one I'm doing similar to the top one, so I'm fading it down. But it's quite a small space, you may not really see much of a difference. But if my schedule on my calendar is correct, we should be having a lot of kitchen work being done today. But as of the day I'm recording this, which is, I'm just checking the time, it's the date, it's the 8th of August today. And the fitters were supposed to start tomorrow, but they've been already put, I was told Tuesday or Wednesday, I've now been told Thursday. But it's not going to delay the main part of the job because the day the cabinets arrive is set in stone and they have to be fitted that day, because we have a day set up. Now the handle, we've got this piece and the handle. I think I'm going to do this piece quite dark and then the handle a little bit lighter, just so you can see that there's a difference between them. Yeah, so they're fitting the, we've got, once it's fitted, someone's coming to measure for worktops, and that day's also been set in stone, so any delays now won't delay things later. It might just mean that, I don't think it'll make much difference, to be honest. But we cleared all the kitchen out the weekend and we may not needed to, but I don't think it matters. Anyway, so I'm taking my time over this because it's quite small, but it shouldn't necessarily take too long to get this cabinet coloured. Now with the metallics and the jewels, there are some really quick and easy ways to colour them. Now if you don't mind not using pencil, then you can get it done fast, and I am tempted, I have to say, by using metallic and glitter pens to make glittery gems and metallic metals, and it will speed us up massively. Now I've never tried it, to be honest, so maybe, or maybe I have once, tell a lie, so maybe it might be a good opportunity to have a go at something a little bit different that will be quicker and fun. So these I'm doing in the reverse, so a bit lighter towards the top if I can, trying to keep it even as I go. It's a bit fiddly now, we're having to do around objects, but it's okay. Just gently work across, don't rush, and then it's easier. So working along. Okay, oh, we've got these to do, haven't we? Of course. Forgotten about those. Yes, my husband's off work next week, so I don't know how much I'll be recording. Obviously family time is important, but often he's watching films and sort of off in his own world really. So I'm not sure. We'll have to see what the temperature's doing as well. It's going to be really scorching hot this week. Ugh. I think it's going to cool down towards the end of next week. Now, oh, we haven't done around here, have we? The only other thing are these dots which don't appear on the other side, which bugs me a little bit, but I think I'll just do them this colour. Could always draw some in, couldn't we? There we go. Okay, now I'm just looking and thinking. Right. Now we have this lines around everything. And I'm thinking that maybe this wood is slightly inset compared to this. So maybe this outside bit will be a little bit lighter and this inside bit might be a bit darker. And this bit would be darker and so would inside the cupboard. So should we start with a darker colour? I think we will. We'll start with the burnt umber. Oh gosh, I don't know if you can see that. And we're going to do this sort of inset bits, the really dark bits. So inside the cupboard here, it's going to be very dark, isn't it? It's not going to be a lot of light being allowed in there. So we'll put down a layer of this. Now Ergosofts do like being layered up a bit, but we'll see how we go. And we've got this bit in here. I think this bit would be quite good being dark, especially as we've got these metallics and gems which will stand out. Now my only concern now thinking about if I'm going to do glitter pens and things is that this detail is very small. My Sakura jelly rolls, the nibs are fairly big and I'm not sure if they would sort of overlap the edges, you know, whether I'd find it hard to stay in the lines. But my my Castle Arts gel pens, I think the nibs are finer on those. I'll have to have a little play, they might work better. And it would just make it quicker and different to use those compared with just using pencil. But obviously using pencil and getting metallic effects, I keep pushing it, sorry. Using pencil and getting metallic effects can be quite impressive, but it's time consuming. And I don't know how well it'll work if we mix it up with our pencil, you know, so I'm interested in finding out really. The only thing is I've got the Castle Arts pens and they don't have names and numbers, so I wouldn't necessarily be able to tell you exactly what I was doing. Now, I think that this bit might be slightly darker. And this bit, and I'm just going to leave that there. Now I am going to go for my next darkest colour, which I'm just trying to choose. I think I'm going to go for the Van Dyck brown. It isn't quite as dark as the umber. I'm going to put a layer on top of this bit here, like that. This is nice and sharp, this pencil. A layer on top of here, and then what I want to do is all the bits that are slightly set in. This bit, for example. Now I'm just going to go over all this and tidy it up a little bit. It's a bit messy. I'm not sure that looks any lighter than that, to be honest. but maybe I'll, you know, let's get a layer of our black. This is just a standard black. I'm thinking put a layer of that, this on top, it will darken it a bit, like that, and the same here, particularly on these edges where we want to make sure this back part is darker than the front, the sides, etc. Just darken it down a bit. If you think it looks a bit too black, you can always put another layer of brown on top. It's the joy with the Polychromos, you can just keep layering them up. Okay, so back to our Van Dyck brown, and we're going to do, we'll start here actually. So layer it up a little bit more there, and I would say fade it down towards the middle a bit. Not too much or too quickly, just make it a little bit lighter in the middle. And then start coming from this side, just so that you can find the middle a little bit more easily. And back from the other side. And then just quite pale in the middle. And then have a little look and have a think whether that is doing what you want it to do. I'm going to tidy it up a little bit and hope that that works. And we've got a lot of rooms like this coming up in Johanna's new book, so we need to sort of learn not to be scared of them. And it can be quite tricky. As I said from the beginning, what I do is I tend to take something big and colour that just to help give me somewhere to focus on and know that a chunk is done. Or I might pick an item that I really like and just do that first. So I think on this page, I'm trying to think about when I coloured this page before, what I did, but I can't remember, so I don't know. So I think I did the lower part of Pica's desk, because this is only part of a picture, isn't it? Or is it a double page? Can't remember, because Pica is behind the desk. I'm going to try to, fade it in a little bit. So it's a little bit darker on the edges. I need to be aware of the centre, keeping that light and thinking about if that's the effect that I want, and working it around all these intricate bits. Yeah, I think that works for me. You can definitely see that this is a bit darker than this, which is good. So here, for example, I want a sort of darker edge, so that it really looks like the edging is slightly out, that this is slightly inset. And the same on here. Like that. Make sure, I'm just kind of get rid of some of the white paper. There we go. Now this be the same as this. Now the jars and jugs and things I'm just looking at and thinking, because you could do them metallic, and you have to decide what you're doing with regards to Johanna's markings on there. You could use metallic pencil, and then you won't hide what she's drawn, you'll see it through it. But metallic pencils aren't as brilliantly shiny as pens, so it won't look quite as shiny. It depends what effect you're trying to get, really. You could just see all these bits on the jug. If you try to get your metallic pen, draw that bit and then draw that bit, so you do either side of the black line, it would get quite complicated, wouldn't it? So I'm trying to think, you could do it just china, just a colour, as if it were a china jug rather than metallic. Or you could do different colours for the different bits. Now we're just adding our darker to lighter bit. So for example, you could do this line one colour, this line that colour, and then stripes or something, but I don't know whether that would look a little bit odd. I think it would very much depend on your colour choices. So or you could just ignore Johanna's markings, just colour all over it. But you do need to be careful of that. Before you do that, look at the item and make sure it makes sense. Sometimes it's Johanna's marks that allow us to realise what it is. And if you cover them over, it can sometimes look a little bit strange, but as I say, it depends what the item is. I think you could pretty easily see this as a teapot and this is some sort of serving tureen and this is a jug. So you could probably go all the way over each one and it wouldn't really matter. But you would need them to be different colours because they overlap each other. So it's worth having a little think before you sort of start. To say, you could do them in metallic pencils. I'm tempted to do that. I like my metallic pencils. Or you could just do it so it looks like it's a coloured china of some sort. But I don't know. To me they look like they're metallic, and we have to remember that this is Pica's house. Pica the magpie likes shiny things, so everything in here should be shiny. You know, we've got a mirror, we've got a shield, we've got lots of spoons and keys and things. All of these things would be made of shiny metal, so we have to be aware of that and think about that. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge. But then we've got things that maybe aren't shiny, like a case and a sack. Oh, you can't see up there, sorry. And boxes and a butterfly here. So those things would need different treatment. You know, you wouldn't be able to do them in a metallic pen. So it's going to be interesting. And you can use this as practice for the reauth page if you haven't done it yet, and experiment with different colours and things, so it can be quite useful for that as well. Right, that's a bit messy, but I've done the basics. I'm going to bring some colour in from the outside like I did with the cupboard doors. And by doing it, it gives me the opportunity to just tidy up a bit as well, which is always useful. There we go. Okay. So you can see how that's taking shape. I think I'm not going to do this lower bit for you as well on video, so it's going to get really boring. But really that cupboard door would be done, the drawers would be done the same. So a little bit darker around the edge, just the middle. I've just noticed we've got these door handles. Whoops. I'm going to use my Payne's Grey for those. And I'm going to just do them quite plain, like I've done with the other items. I've got one here as well. What I am going to show you is the other brown for this sort of outside parts of the cupboard, which one am I going to choose? This one or this one? I think we'll choose the raw umber. Okay, it's quite a different brown. You'll see that as I start to apply it. And you can decide whether you think that's going to work or whether you feel that it needs to be a bit darker. And I will think about it too, as I don't use it. I think it definitely looks like it's a different type of wood rather than just a shaded bit. You could do this as if it were metal, of course, rather than wood if you wanted to as well. So you can see it's a lot quicker just filling in these little bits. Now you could add some wood grain and effects like that on this if you wanted to, but I think I'm going to leave it fairly plain just because it's easier and quicker, and we have such a lot to do on this picture. So there's our other colour, just so you can see it. Now let's have a think. What I would do next, once I finish this, would be the wood on here. I think I'm going to take this lighter shade and do these shelves. Now I'm going to do them really quickly and easily. You notice I'm colouring over the screw. I'm taking no notice of the shading at this point. I'm just getting some colour down on the shelves. That's those front pieces. Can do the top. Then this base part. And then this base part. Oh, there's not much there. And then we'll do these ones. It's like a sort of see-through, well, it's like a skeleton shelf unit, isn't it? There's no back or front or sides, it's just got a few slats. Okay, now the Payne's grey, I'm going to stick with the same sorts of colours for the screws. Next, like that, and then I'm going to use the burnt umber. No, I'm going to use the Van Dyck brown and just make it a little bit darker on the edges. A bit here. And then just think a little bit about shadow. There'll be a bit under here because that one's overhanging, and here. So just add a little bit. You wouldn't see it at the back because it's a different angle. So there's that. It's quite basic. I quite like that though. And then we have the window, which is our other sort of wooden bit. Now we have a sort of neat bit here and then this sort of rough plank. I think we'll do what we did before actually. Start with our raw umber and do all of the wood. So we mark out where we're at, and then we can fill in the rest. Trying to avoid all these little bits and pieces. I'll do this frame as well. Just checking how long we've been, quite a while. We'll just finish these wooden bits. I'll come back tomorrow and do a bit more. I think it's quite a big one to tackle in one video. I think we'll do that bit too. Okay, and now I'm going to grab my darker brown, my Van Dyck brown, like I did for the one at the bottom. Just do a little bit here and here, just like we did on that other piece of furniture. Maybe a bit under here, look, just to show a bit of shadow. I'm thinking maybe a bit up here. And then maybe in between these slats, just to show their overlap a little bit. Maybe a bit coming out there and there. There we go. Now I'm going to use my Payne's grey for some of the screws and bits and pieces. So we've got a screw in each of these slats. And here. Now I'm just going to use my raw umber again, just to fill in here where I've missed a bit. Now these screws, I think I'm going to do all in the Payne's grey actually. I'm not doing the items today, but we can get that done. I often draw that as if it's a chain with a bit see-through. I might do that actually. So this is the raw umber, just going on in there. Let's have a look. This isn't really dark enough for my liking. Just add a bit more in to these. I'm getting tired. Well, my voice is getting tired and I need a coffee. But as I say, I'm going to make this do for today in a moment when I finish fiddly faddling. What I'm going to do is I am going to finish this using the same technique as I've showed you. In my own time, but I'm not going to do anything else, so don't worry. So it's just this bit, so it's just the same as we were doing up here, so it's nothing too tricky. Okay, so that's your sort of homework, but there'll be a photo. When I've done it, I will take a photo, I will put it up at the end of the video, so you can just have a little look, use it as a guide if you need to. And as I say, I'm going to come back and I'm going to try using pens, glitter pens and metallic pens, and see what happens. As I say, I've never tried that before. There are obviously bits that I can't use in those types of pens, but you know, I thought we could do that. See what happens. Oh, I told you I was tired. I've got a yawn. Right, so thank you for watching. Do your homework. Have a lovely day. And come back tomorrow to see the next bit and how I decide to progress. I'm not really 100% sure, but you know, we'll see what happens, won't we? Oh, we're all squiff. There we go. So thank you for watching. Have a lovely day and happy colouring.